Hello everyone, I'm Gemma Beall. Welcome to Beyond Second Cognition. We've taken a few weeks off to decompress from all the things going on in our lives, and the downtime has been great, but it's also offered some new perspectives. Today's presentation I'm calling Challenge the Challenging Challenger. Okay, say that 3 times fast. Phew. In this presentation, I'm going to share some observations I've had over my lifetime, but specifically the last few weeks where ego behavior is concerned, and clarifying some concepts for everyone to contemplate. We've talked about many things in all our videos, but for this one, I want to specifically point out our being conditioned to conflict, our being conditioned to not ask questions, our necessity for asking questions, and our defensive nature over being questioned or having our ideas challenged and how people take it personally. Before I delve into this, though, I'm going to digress. I've shared how I had a father that highly encouraged my inquisitive nature. He also raised me in the school of sink or swim, so how I was raised was very conducive to my journey in a lot of ways. He always taught me that I was smart enough to figure anything out, and if I couldn't figure it out, I was smart enough to find someone that could show me, or I could ask. Because of this, I literally spent my entire working career figuring things out and fixing things. Most all my knowledge I've acquired in my working career has been on the job, sink or swim, figuring it out, not from academic learning. I've learned a lot by making a lot of mistakes and learning from those mistakes, but in a business setting, I've learned that sometimes it's much more cost effective and productive to ask someone questions or ask someone how to do something rather than trying to figure it out on my own, fucking it up, and learning by having to fix it. I've encountered many times that someone will tell me to do something and I'll question them about how it's done and why it's done that way so I can understand the process, only to have them get pissed at me and tell me how rude I am for challenging them. I will admit that most of the people that did that are the academics with high degrees and professional licenses. I guess they don't get that people learn by instructions. There is a difference between questioning and challenging, and neither one of them are bad. I highly encourage both, but there is a difference between PSOYCA challenge and ego challenge, and I'm going to explain the difference. Challenge has several meanings, but the ones that pertain to what I'm talking about is an objection or query as to the truth of something, often with an implicit demand for proof, and dispute the truth or validity of. A question is, just to remind everyone, a sentence worded or expressed as to elicit information. Not all questions are challenges, and not all challenges are questions, and therein lies the difference. A lot of people think that just because they throw a question mark at the end of a sentence that they are asking a question, but does the question in and of itself elicit information, or is it a challenge of the person, not the information, that has been lobbed and decorated with a question mark? Every path is different. Every person is different. There may be a commonality in ego mentalities that all people exude within their mind, and there's a lot of behavior that gets mistaken for ego action. But is the action really from a point of ego, or is it the ego psyche filtering and forming a perception of those in witness of the action? That's the question. The PSOYCA path is about challenging oneself within the mind to tear down the ego psyche and build a new PSOYCA psyche without the ego mentalities and habits controlling the perceptions in the mind and the actions of the form. It's not an easy process. We're all going through it, though we are all at different levels within ourselves. We are sharing our journeys and what we are learning within our own mind. We've learned what we've learned not by challenging others, but by challenging ourselves. Every day that we experience growth and expansion, the growth and expansion is a direct result of us challenging ourselves. I personally have nothing to gain by challenging others, but I have everything to gain by challenging myself and everything to lose by not challenging myself. And the same can be said for every single one of you. I feel an internal PSOYCA push to share with others and to help others overcome the first cognition hangover I've had to fight to overcome. That is my plan, and that is what I feel I came here to do. Now, whether I'm full of shit or not is not for anyone else but me to challenge, and believe me, I challenge it every single day. There is a huge difference, though, in challenging a person and challenging an idea, and we see a lot of people challenging Endel and I directly about who we are, not the information. As we've stated time and time again, we are not important, the information is, and whether the information applies to you or not is up for you to figure out in your own mind. The same can be said for everyone else. If you are seeking information to expand yourself, your only challenge should be within your mind about how the information applies to you or doesn't apply to you, and you stand up in your own challenge and rise or fall from the outcome. With our channel, the information we share, we are directly challenging every single one of you, but we aren't challenging you to challenge you. We're challenging you to challenge yourself. But only those who wish to stand up to the challenge. If someone doesn't want to challenge themselves, they can move along. Growth doesn't happen in a vacuum, and it doesn't happen by osmosis either. And a lot of people will share their interpretations of their experience with us and get mad at us for challenging their interpretations, and we aren't doing so to be assholes. We're doing so because we can see the limitations in the interpretation based on greater information we've obtained by challenging ourselves, and we are challenging others to push themselves to greater information that is available if they can only see it. But once again, the choice to challenge themselves for greater expansion is in their hands, and getting mad at us isn't going to expand them. I have found from personal experience that the only thing getting mad at someone else does is cause contraction within my own mind, not expansion. We know the pitfalls from this human indoctrination, and we can see them because we are looking for them, and we have a lot of experience in tripping over them and having our asses beaten by them. We also have the experience of getting past a lot of it. Now, whether that's true or not isn't your problem, that's mine, and I do challenge that every single day. Some days I win, some days I don't. But my personal outcome is between me and my PSOYCA, which is where your outcome should be for you, between you and your PSOYCA. The one thing I've learned, and I've especially been having it in my face on a daily basis, is that there is never a point in time that we will ever see the whole picture, because we always have something obscuring the view of what we see. Whether the obscuring item is filters and mentalities or not having enough information, it doesn't really matter. There is still something obscuring our view. There's a lot of information out there that is just straight up bullshit, and so many people accept the information without challenging the information in their own mind. I see a lot of people that will challenge those presenting the information, but what does challenging the person presenting the information really do for you? Does it expand you? Does it bring light to the information? Does it bring you the opportunity to challenge the information and how it applies to you or not? Or is the need to shoot the messenger, challenge the messenger so strong in your mind that it becomes a distraction to keep you from challenging yourself? I've known for a long time, and I've shared this in my books, that interpretation is the key to understanding what our intuition is telling us. Intuition is just a guiding system. It's like a compass. It isn't an arbiter of fact or truth. It just leads you in a certain direction. It doesn't necessarily tell you everything, and learning to work with it comes down to how you interpret what it is telling you or showing you. But if you stand in the face of that intuition without challenging your interpretation, you will be led in the wrong direction. I was talking to others the other day and shared an insight that I had about intuition and interpretation. I told them, and this is what I've learned as truth in challenging my own interpretations of my misinterpreted intuitions, we have to learn to trust ourselves, and questioning ourselves kicks up the ego habit of not trusting ourselves. You have to temper yourself to be able to question not only your interpretation but your knowings without it leaving you distrusting all of yourself in any capacity. We question ourselves only up to a certain point that gives us comfort in trusting ourselves, but beyond that, we stop questioning. I even question my knowings, not because I question the knowing, I question it to expand on it. Questions bring answers that expand our awareness, and questions, although in first cog they are designed to sow doubt, from a PSOYCA perspective, they are asked for the sole purpose of expansion. Now, when I shared this the other day, what I really meant was that I challenged myself, in addition to questioning myself. It's not just mere questions. I challenged my past experiences and questioned to expand myself to gain more information. I challenged my intuitive knowings and questioned to expand myself to gain more of the knowing and more of the picture that fills out the knowing, not merely just an interpretation of the feeling itself. We are always missing information that will expand a larger picture. Most of what was left for humanity is sorely lacking real information where PSOYCA is concerned and what the universe beyond 3D is concerned. When you take in information from a 3D perspective and glom onto it because you feel it and know it, don't just ride on the laurels of that knowing. Challenge the knowing and begin asking questions as to how you know it, why you know it. Then ask questions for your PSOYCA to show you more information. Regardless of visuals you get or words that fill out the picture, know you are limited by your Earth 3D filters, regardless of how advanced you think you are, and continue to ask questions to fill out the much larger picture. There is always a much larger picture than you can see or that you can remember, regardless of what level you're operating from. So to expand further on your path, become the challenging challenger unto yourself, not everyone else around you. Because regardless of anyone else's interpretation of their own experience, including my own, you will only expand yourself by challenging yourself within your mind. Thank you everyone for listening. I want to welcome all our new subscribers, and for everyone doing the work, stay the course and don't give up on yourself.